Scream Factory recently released the Scream-inspired, I would say, slasher Cherry Falls on Blu-ray. This was one I remember a lot from my high school days because I randomly rented this one weekend along with the very cheap Hell's Highway. And if you've seen that, you know what I'm talking about. So mixed with this, it was quite an odd weekend. Basically, it stars Brittany Murphy in a very odd character role for the film. The film's odd in general. It's fun. I love it. And in some ways, just because of how bizarre it is. And if you actually watch the special features, you'll realize that at one time they wanted David Lynch to direct this. So that should kind of give you a little bit of an indication on what kind of film we're dealing with here. Like I said, it's a slasher at heart. It's following the Scream era slasher format in a lot of ways. It tries to do some things different. Some things are the same. There is a little blood here, which is good because most of those films at that time seemed to kind of skimp out on the blood once they started going for the PG ones, which this is not PG-13 by any means. This is actually rated R. The gist of things, it opens up with some teens doing what they do up in the hills or the woods, whatever, in a lover's lane type setting, and somebody kills them. So the film basically goes on with people getting killed randomly, and they find out that people that have had sex is actually the ones that the killer is targeting for a change. So I'm wrong. It's actually the people that have not had sex are the people that the killer is targeting for a change, which sets forth the big orgy party in the later part of the film, where all the teens decide they're all going to get together and everybody's going to sleep with somebody to avoid being taken out by our slasher in question. Now, there is a pretty good reveal on who the slasher is. There's quite an interesting backstory that go along with them. Now, I won't say who it turns out to be if you've not seen this because it would be a spoiler. I will say that the person it turns out to be gives one of the most interesting performances that you're going to see, especially in a film like this, and I thought it was really, really entertaining. I think the film's entertaining in a lot of ways. Like I said, it's a bizarre film, but it's still a fun film, and I will give credit where credit is due, as always, with Scream Factory, giving this a grade A transfer. This movie has a great setting, a great backdrop, all in all, and the transfer really brings it out. I also am a big fan of that cover that they had done, which when I first seen it on their Facebook page led me to believe that I thought this was going to be a special edition or a collector's edition. That's not the case, although you wouldn't know it by the effort that they put into it, because it still has that collector's edition feel. No slipcase, nothing. There's that. No original artwork. I don't even think the original artwork was that good, though, so it's good that they went and did that. Of course, I'm always a fan of that, even if it's technically not a collector's edition. Special features have an audio commentary with director Geoffrey Wright, interview with writer Ken Selden and actress Amanda Ankin, producer Eli Selden, and Marshall Persing, vintage interviews with Brittany Murphy, Michael Biehn, Jay Moore, and director Geoffrey Wright. Behind-the-scenes footage, original script in the BD-ROM, and theatrical trailer. Like I said, good stuff. It's solid. It's one of the more solid post-Scream slashers you're going to find out there. I believe this year was like 2000 or 2001, 2000 when it came out, and it kind of tells that it's 2000. It seems like it, although it's got a real mystique look to it. It's got some pretty cool scenes, some tense scenes, some really cool stuff near the end. I think the whole orgies setting kind of leads for some pretty interesting stuff as well. Like I said, it's odd, it's bizarre. Brittany Murphy's performance is bizarre. I don't know if you could really say that you could tell what kind of an actress she was going to be when you've seen her in this, but it's memorable. For one reason or another, it's memorable, and this is definitely a good film that I like. I like it better than Disturbing Behavior, which they recently released, so it kind of flips some rules where this time the virgins are the ones dying, and it has a pretty cool killer, and there's some pretty neat scenes, and it's got some funny stuff as well in the mix. So if you've never seen Cherry Falls, I recommend it. I will recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Scream-ish slashers, and if you like looking at something that looks better than it's ever looked before, definitely pick up a copy of Cherry Falls from Scream Factory.